Hi everyone, I'm Judy Albright and I'm a pastel artist, and today I'm going to talk with you about what I think about blending with your fingers. Here we go. Okay, so I have two sketches of teacups that I'm going to work on, and one I'm going to blend with my fingers and one I'm not. And we're going to just see how differently they may turn out. Using a combination of new pastels, which are the harder pastels, and a variety of softer pastels. So let's see how this goes. So I usually start when I paint with the harder pastels with a light, very light touch, just to get things started. So we're going to imagine that the light source is coming from this side of the teacup. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with some light shades of blue on this side. And of course, when it shines in from that direction, it lights up that side of the inside of the cup. And you can see that, I'm going to go from kind of light to dark. It's a big piece. I usually break my pieces into small little chunks that are almost like a paintbrush size. So I imagine using a paintbrush with a brush that big. And so now you can see what I'm doing is I'm doing a lot of blending right on top of each other. So this blending is happening actually with the pastel itself. Ow, I'm having a hard time holding on today. So let's see, I'm gonna take this layer and I'm going to use my finger to blend. So it's very satisfying, honestly, experience, because things usually blend so smoothly. Right? Okay, so it's a satisfactory blend, but I don't know, not so sure about it. Let's try adding some more color on top of it, using a softer pastel. Again, I'm still using kind of a light touch. Okay. This time, I'm not going to do any blending, but I'm going to start working with the softer pastels right on top. And I'm letting the pastel blend into itself just by going back and forth over different areas. See, I'm going to introduce a little bit of turquoise in this one. Pop it up a little bit. Cleaning up into the lines. So this one now, I'm feeling has a more lively appearance because you're actually looking at the colors on top of each other, and that's really showing. It's not smoothed out, but it's kind of sparkling. Now, the reason it looks different is that pastels are made of tiny crystals of pigment. And those crystals, when you apply them with your pastel stick, they kind of pop up like this, and they catch the light and reflect the light. And that's what makes pastels look so luminous. So when you use your finger and you smudge, you're actually flattening the pastels and making the pastels duller. They're not catching the light the way they do with this method. So this is the method I prefer. I just think it holds more interest to me, even if I pop on a little bit of reflected light. Yeah. I think my preference is this way, and trying not to use my fingers. Now, it's not that there's anything wrong with using your fingers, but you want to do it judiciously and maybe not all the time. A real danger that I've seen with my students is that their work can get really muddy, and we don't want that. All right, there you go. There's no really right or wrong, but I kind of feel, and I encourage my students to do this. You know how when you have a young child, a toddler at home, and they're really little and they're very interested in what you're doing when you're cooking. Well, you tell them, don't touch the stove, because you know that they can get burned. And it's an important thing to teach them, right? But it's not that you never want them to touch the stove, because you want them to learn how to cook, right? But at a certain stage of their development, it's better to tell them don't do it. So I tell my beginning pastel students that story. Just really try not to, because it's so tempting. I have been there. And you get very muddy, very dull looking paintings if you do that. So there we go. That's what I think. See you later. Notice how I'm going back and forth to get the blend that I want. See, it felt to me like everything got very dull as soon as I started using my finger on it. Forgot about the handle. Okay, so now I've added a little more color. The color's slightly different with the softer pastels. And again, I'm going to use my finger and blend it together. To correct that a little bit. I always think you have a good ellipse and then you kind of lose it. All right, you get the idea. Let's try this one. I'm going to try this one in a different color. And let's see how this works. This will be a green teacup. Again, I'm starting with the lighter shades. This is a lighter, I'm sure. Okay, I'll go with that. And gradually getting a little bit darker. Keep playing with your pastels.